Back at you again with another one. So this weekend, it's another Premier League game where we'll be taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Emirates Stadium. So let's look into Wolverhampton's recent results. So they've played Leeds recently, and unlike us, they managed to pull out a win at Ellen Road 1-0, where it seems like Leeds United were all over us. Yes, we had 10 men, but even prior to the sending off, they were all over us. Let's be honest here. So decent result for Wolves there. They drew 1-0 with Newcastle, beat Crystal Palace 2-0. Remember, Crystal Palace, I believe they smashed Leeds United 4-0. And Leeds United pretty much made light work of us. So should we be afraid? Maybe so. They did lose 1-0 to Leicester City, and we had a similar result in ourselves, losing to Leicester City. And but they did lose away, whereas we lost at home to Leicester. So, and they also drew 1-0 to the reignited Southampton with Ralph at the helm, doing bits over there. So if we sort of look down at the table, I believe they're currently sat in 8th. Whenever this decides to load up, sorry, apologies, internet's been very slow today. Well, it looks like it doesn't want to work. So oh, here we go. Apologies, guys. So if we can sort of see from the table, we're sat way below, whereas Wolves are sat there. Apologies, it's 9th, not 8th. So they're a few places ahead of us on the league table. So it should be, I'd say, a fairly evenly contested game, considering we are at home and we've not had the greatest start to the season. So without wasting any time, let's get into the predicted lineup that I believe Mikel Arteta would put out against Wolves on the Sunday. So in goal, I've gone with Bernd Leno. Safe to say he's always a guaranteed in the Premier League games. I'm glad to see Runnison playing a bit more now, and hopefully he features more in the cup games. My only concern is with the season we're having, with the pandemic still out there. All it has is to take it's Leonard to get a positive test, and then he has to self-isolate for 2 weeks, and then we've got Runnison. So I think let's just play Runnison in those games, get him up to sort of match fitness, and if there is a situation where for whatever reason, due to injuries, due to self-isolation, Leno can't participate, then at least we've got a trusted goalkeeper in Runnison to come in. And I thought Runnison did play decent on Thursday night. Only issue was there was that missed kick he had on the first half. But let's see if he can be Leno's understudy and be a decent backup option. But as I mentioned, in terms of league games, Leno is a guaranteed starter, and hence why quite easy decision. So I'm going to go with Bellerin. Yep, Arteta loves Bellerin, and I can honestly say I haven't been given much confidence in Ainsley's performances recently, which is a massive shame because I just thought he could do so much better. I thought this season he would cement that right back position as his own, but he's rarely and failed to live up to that hype. So Bellerin goes in for me. As I said, this is Arteta's predicted lineup that I think he would present. Gabriel, why do I have Tierney and Tierney? I know Tierney's great, but he's not that good to occupy 2 positions. That's meant to be Gabriel and Mustafi, but apparently Tierney can occupy 2 positions. That's how great Tierney is. So we've got, apologies. So Gabriel on centre back alongside with Holding, Rob Holding. Yeah, I'm not sure I got Tierney. So Gabriel, Rob Holding, Tierney as a left back, and got Granit Xhaka and Ceballos as our sort of deep midfielders with Willock ahead of him, and I've got Saka on the left-hand side. Yes, he's still got that knock, which he's carrying from the game against Leeds United. I just think he didn't play against the Europa League games just for precaution, because he's played quite a lot of games. We have to bear in mind he did feature 3 times during that international period. So I just feel as if Arteta's trying to protect him, but he should be fit for this game. So hence why I'm going with Saka on the left-hand side, Oba through the middle, and Willian on that right-hand side. Yes, I know there's some doubts over Willian, and I think that maybe Arteta took off Lacazette off early on the Sunday because he is quite concerned with an injury either between Willian or Saka, and therefore we might see Laka playing up and Oba shifted on the left-hand side. And if it is Willian who's missing, Saka will move across to the right-hand side. And if it is Saka that's missing, then Oba will play on the left and Willian on the right. So this will be the formation I think Mikel Arteta will go for on Sunday. So on the next tab here, we're going to go with my lineup, the lineup I'd like to see Arteta select. So we've got Bert Leno in goal. We've got Bellerin. Yeah, I know. I had to select Bellerin for the same reason as I mentioned, just because Ainsley hasn't lived up to the hype, and for me that's a serious concern. That right back spot, I just see too many teams attack us from there, and it will be interesting to see if they bring on someone like Adama Traore towards the second half once some of our fullbacks' legs are tired. And we all know what Grealish did to Bellerin, so you can only imagine what Adama Traore would do to Hector Bellerin. So I've gone with William Saliba and Gabriel. Yep, the likelihood of William Saliba playing is 0. Greater chance of me winning lottery than seeing Saliba play. But I've gone for him just because I'm not a fan of Holding. Don't like Holding. Don't trust him. I think he's a decent squad player. To say he's a starter, not for me. And I'd rather just see the French kid play. But it's looking like he's going to go back on loan to Saint Etienne in January. Gabriel, obvious reason, just like Leno, he's perhaps been one of our main players. And he's been very consistent. This time, I don't have Tierney playing both as centre-back and left-back. I thought we'll give Kieran Tierney a bit of a rest and let's play him as a left-back. But it's funny that I did have him on the left-back spot on the other tab. That's just because I'm probably confused. I don't even know what position he plays anymore. He's played in that left centre-back spot for far too long. Hey, is he even a left-back anymore? We don't know. Looking at the midfielders, yes, I've also gone for a deep, 2 deep midfielders on my formation. Reason being is because I think Wolves are a good counter-attacking team, and I think we need an extra man in midfield to soak up that pressure, and we need 2 there to prevent their attack because they play with attacking wing-backs. So maybe if they start attacking from the wing-back spots, we can get the likes of Granit Xhaka to fill in that void if Kieran Tierney's making that run up. Likewise, Dani Ceballos on the other side, covering for Hector if he makes his bursting runs up. And I've gone with Emil Smith-Rowe. And that's only because I see Emil Smith-Rowe having a higher ceiling than Willock. If you were to ask me right now who is a better player, of course it's Willock. But I feel as if give Smith-Rowe some consistency and we'll see the best out of him. I've heard from fans from Huddersfield Town who speak highly of this guy, and they say he's Premier League ready, not just Championship ready. They say he's good enough to play for a Big Six and start for him. And from the rare glimpses from the Thursday night's game, he looked really good. He did set up the goal for Balogun. Hence why I'm going to go with Smith-Rowe. But as I said, if Willock gets selected ahead of him, I'm not really fussed. I've gone with our star boy Saka on the left-hand side. Hopefully he's fit enough to play because he made a massive difference when he came on against Leeds United. So hopefully we get our Saka back for this game. Up front, I've got Oba there. I don't want Mikel Arteta to revert Oba back on the wing just because after one game, I think we need to sort of see this set up for a few games before reverting back to the old system. So I'm hoping he's not being stubborn and goes back thinking, you know what, didn't work against Leeds United, Oba back to the left. So hopefully Oba does go through the middle again. And I like to see Nelson. I just think Nelson, he's worked really hard in these cup games. And I just feel as if it's his time to shine. So for me, likewise, I gave Willock that opportunity when he was performing well in the Europa League games prior to the international break. I think Nelson deserves his opportunity now. As I've always said, my only concern with Nelson is his failure to pass the first man during his crosses, whether it be from a cross from open play or corner kicks. And he just needs to get that right. If you don't have the strength in your feet to beat the first man, then stop crossing. Just maybe, provide cutbacks or something like that. Just use your footballing brain to know what you can do, what you can't do, and be effective that way. But that will be my lineup. So in terms of, by the way, just before I go into my score prediction, I've not really heard too much news on the status of Thomas Partey as well as Mohamed El Nene. I'm not sure whether the team might want to risk them against this game when we've got Spurs next week, which will be a tough one. So I think that Mikel Arteta might have plans for Partey for the game against Spurs. So maybe we might not just rush him out for this game. And if he's fit enough, maybe bring him on in the last sort of 10, 20 minutes to shore things up. But onto my score prediction. I think it's going to be a tough game, but we do have home advantage. Does that even count anymore without the fans? I'm not too sure. One good thing is I've seen the handbrake slightly loosen, where we haven't really taken it fully off. We're still on, it's halfway there, and where we've sort of shifted our gear shift from gear 1 to gear 2. So we're slowly coming out of our defensive shell, and I'm hoping we see more attacking football. And if we were to attack, and based on the sort of team I'm going for, I think we can bring the game to Wolves. That's just because they're a bit inconsistent, and that's despite our injuries. So based on, you see, I'm thinking, my brain's telling me it's going to be a draw. It has to be a draw. But something inside me is telling me we're going to somehow nick this game. So, yes, I'm going to be biased now. I'm sorry. And I'm going to go over 2-1 prediction. So that's my predicted score. As you can see, that's my predicted lineup. And I've shown you the lineup I think Arteta will select. If you could let me know if you agree with the lineup or who would you have play instead. And what are your score predictions? Please let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. And